G'day everyone. I was just talking to a guy on YouTube who's having tuning issues with his Floyd Rose, so I thought, well, let's talk about Floyd Rose issues. Like Paul Reed Smith said, a guitar going out of tune is because something's moved. Okay, something's moved and it's now out of tune. Okay, so with the Floyd Rose, now the guy mentioned the string had popped out. Now what can happen? Okay, where are we? So you got that little block, where are we? Here, got that little block and that shaft there, okay? So if that isn't all tightened down properly, the string can pop out. Now the other thing is, if you haven't actually fed enough of the string into, where's the damn screwdriver? If you haven't fed enough string in front of that block, it's really got nothing to grab onto, and when you pull the bar back, hence, you know, doing that sort of thing, eventually the string will just pop out, and it almost looks like a little hook. Okay, actually, if you want to wait 2 seconds, here, look at my guitar. Alright, so just for a visual aid, I'll pop that there. Okay, now let's say, I can't see this, so I don't really know what's happening on the other side of there, but let's say you haven't got enough in the block. It almost looks like that. It actually looks even rounder. Okay. Okay, so if you don't put enough string in here and it pops out and it looks, where are we? Something like that, you haven't got enough in there, okay? It should go in about 1 centimetre, so let's say, put the camera down. I believe this is picking this up. So let's say now you put the string in properly, say a few weeks later you change your strings. It should look, where are we? Something like that, you know, you should have about 1 centimetre of bend on the string, okay? So that's if the string's put in properly, okay? If it's not put in properly, where's that bloody end? It's going to look like, this is really hard trying to do all this with one hand. Now, where are we? It's kind of going to look like that, okay? You're going to have bugger all bend on it, okay? So, that's one possibility. It's, you haven't got enough string in there, and it's just popped out. Another thing that can happen is, because there's that many moving parts on these, things can be finicky. Let's say, where's that screwdriver? Let's say you haven't got your intonation screw put down properly. That can then move the whole saddle, the whole string can go out of tune. One string goes out of tune, generally speaking, the rest of the guitar goes out of tune, because everything on these things is balanced between the strings and the springs on the underside of the body. What else can happen? Now, this Floyd Rose here, this is one of those check nasty license under Floyd Rose tremolos that are, I'm guessing, made out of cast. So instead of hardened steel or anything, it's just made out of cast. Now that is off of this guitar, which I've actually never used on one of my YouTube videos. This is a old ESP LTD V250. This is back when I was like 16, you know, and didn't know any better and thought EMGs were really cool. I bought this EMG and this tremolo. This is a TRS 101 tremolo, and this is a pretty low quality one as well. But basically I bought this tremolo and this EMG 81, which I'm guessing is a pretty old one, for $30 now. Check this out. Those freaking gouges. They were actually there when I got the pickup. But I wouldn't mind actually sort of get this guitar up and going again. But I don't use EMG, so I'm up for a new set of pickups. This guitar's about 15, 16 years old now. 2001. So that's that. So this shit tremolo, this really shit one, is off of that guitar. Now the reason it's off of that guitar is if you see here, there's 3 short screws, 3 long, well, there's a third one there, which is going to be a visual aid in a second. What happened was, these short screws here, basically the thread completely just stripped off of the actual shaft. So if you see on this one here, you can see where you got this section here, that's where it's going into the saddle. Now just imagine that just completely disappeared and you were just left with the shaft, no thread. That was another issue. So things can strip. So if you've got a tremolo that looks like this, you're probably going to have to look at replacing it at some point. I'll put a link in the description. There's a website called, I think it's called Guitar Heads, and you can actually buy one of these tremolos, I think, for about $60. I'll put a link below. So that's another thing that can happen, is the screws can strip, okay? And they can also strip on the inside of the saddle. And if that happens, you're really in deep shit. Basically, if you've got one of these tremolos, get ready to replace it. That's about the other thing I can say. Yeah, the other thing with Floyd Rose is if we come down here, you can get a burr. Now, I don't know if you can hear that. Ooh. That little tink noise. So that can cause tuning issues. Let's go back over to here, over to my DBZ. So we've covered if the string's not locked in properly, that can cause issues. If things are stripping, that's obviously going to cause issues. You hear people talking about adjusting the string height on the tremolo, about adjusting the string height under string tension. Apparently what can happen, if I zoom in a little bit, you see that shiny part there? Where are we? Okay. If you tighten this under string tension, apparently, and I do say apparently because you hear mixed opinions about this, that will then sort of not be as sharp. So when you're pulling the tremolo, you know, up and down on that, it's not going to return to the exact spot. So that can be another issue. You hear some people talking about having these all cleaned and lubricated. That's another issue. Okay, so let's say these aren't tightened down properly. Actually, okay, so let's say these aren't tightened down properly. Strings are going to get caught, or something's going to happen, okay? So we'll take this one out. Okay, now this one's pretty clean. See how there's no, see those 2 lines? Okay, so that's where the strings have been sitting. That's not too much of an issue, but what can happen, happened on that red LTD back behind me, is you got really deep grooves in it, because being a cheap nasty steel, you got grooves in it and you get tuning issues. If the, see that screw under there? Okay, if that isn't tightened down properly, the whole nut's moving, so you're going to have tuning issues again. Now, I don't want to take these strings out, but under, where are we? Under these strings, you can get basically burrs. The strings can dig into the nut. That can cause tuning issues. And I've got to admit, the more I learn about the setup and repair side of things, the more I dislike these freaking bridges, just because there are so many little things that can go wrong, and they take forever to friggin' tune, or get into tune. That was the other thing. Make sure your strings are stretched properly. There's a lot of different methods on stretching strings. I tend to, just so the string doesn't pop out of the nut, so I keep a finger there and just gently, like I say, I'm holding the camera while I'm doing this, I keep a finger there, and then with my other hand run the length, just gently pull the string up and run basically the length of the string. Okay, that's basically what I do. So make sure everything's tight. There's no burrs. There's no sharp spots. Make sure everything's tight, nothing's stripping. The lubrication thing, that's personal preference. Probably do a bit of reading or a bit of experimenting, see how you go with it. I think that's probably about all I can really say on these things. This is actually a good example too. So we were just looking at that part there, okay? Here's the other side, where are we? Okay. So see how we have almost like a little groove there, okay? If that, is worn away or isn't smooth, you can get tuning issues. Like I said before, it's not returning to its exact spot. Now, getting to the extreme side of things. Now it's a bit windy here, and hang on, put that down. Okay, here's one more thing to talk about. Sorry about that. Okay, here's another thing. Yeah, I've got foam everywhere on this guitar. Take the foam out of this and it sounds like it's got a built-in reverb tank. Okay, now if you've watched my videos before, you'd realise that in the past I was pretty big on using Dean guitars. The very first one I bought, the DBZ, was it the Far Beyond Driven, cost me $2,500, and this screw here actually came out of the body. I went to tighten the screw here. Instead of going in, because of all the tension from those three springs and the strings on the other side, that came out of the body. So if something's loose in there, perhaps, gonna get issues. Okay. There's so many little ifs, buts, and maybes with floating bridges. They can be a bit of a pain in the ass. This one, I'll just flip that back over. Okay, this one is a real Floyd Rose. Okay, unless someone knows different, to me that's a real Floyd Rose. It's even got, flip that up. Oh, you're not going to be able to see it. Oh, you can. That little FR. Okay, as far as I know, that's a real Floyd Rose. I'll be honest, this particular bridge has been probably more of a pain in the ass than any other one. I use the same string method, tuning it and everything I have with the other ones, and for some reason this one's more of a pain in the ass. And this is another reason why I've kind of gone back to fixed bridges. Sorry. And, you put the string in, stretch it out, and you're in tune, They're just a lot easier, and there's none of this sort of, there's no dramas. There's less dramas at least anyway. So, hopefully that helps you out a bit, okay guys? And if you're still having issues, I'd be taking the guitar to a tech, or someone you trust, and get them to have a look at it. Anywho, I want to say thanks to all my new subscribers. Just in the past couple of days I've had quite a few. Coming up 500 subscribers, I think. Currently we're at like 480 or so. So thanks to all the new subscribers. Check that out. The Invader. So thanks to the new subscribers, and I hope everyone's had a good Christmas and has a safe new year. Alright, take it easy.